Yo, everybody, it's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for Dr. Roto this week. If you've not been over to the website, head over there right now and check out all of our wonderful tools. You know what I'm meaning? Dig it. Yeah, we have free articles, and right now, Emmerich and Mike have been killing it in college basketball. Look at the green screens. Go to Twitter, find them, and you will see what is going on. Right now, I got a special Bring the Pain for you. I'm going to be talking the NFC West. Everybody's already talked about these. I know that. But I'm the NFC West guy. I am the Los Angeles Rams, Los Angeles Robs, whatever you want to call them. That's me. We all know it. That's what I'm going to bring. That's how I do it. Right? So I'm going to talk about a few of the additions, give my point of view and how it will, well, make out another year that the Rams should just be coasting into the playoffs because a few of these teams got some problems. Let's start off with Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals had a little clash with Kyler Murray at the beginning of all this hoopla after the season ended and there was all these doubts. Well, yeah, you got beat by the Rams, a division opponent. You punked them in their building, and then they punked you, and then they beat you in the playoffs. That was Arizona just could not swallow that pill, and that's what made them think, hey, we need more tools. But you have the tools, and they figured that out. They're going to make Kyler happy. We all know that was just drama. That was just all bent up frustrations. Season didn't go the way they wanted. Hey, guess what? Get in the boat, guys, because that's the way it goes for a lot of NFL teams every single year. But what they did by re-signing Erie's own James Conner Strong, and Zach Ertz, they helped solidify the middle of that field. That was great moves by the Cardinals by getting those two locked up. They let Edmonds go. They didn't need him. Like, I'm not going to say I'm the biggest Edmonds guy. I never really had faith in him. So to see him go for me, and as a Ram fan, it's fine. It doesn't do anything. And he really was almost the same type of player James Conner is. But right now, after the season James Conner had last year, staying healthy, he showed what he can do in a full season given a good workload. With a great quarterback. I mean, Kyler Murray is a great quarterback. But they did not have D-Hop last year. And that is good, for the end of the year, and that's going to help them. And that's going to help all of your fantasy teams coming up this fantasy football season. Knowing that these guys are locked in for a few years shows that the game plan Arizona has is at least a 3-year window that they're going to see what they can get out of this team with these players and these superstars all around. Yes, we all know Christian Kirk left as well. That's another one of those guys that never really impresses me. He almost reminds me of Traquan Smith, but he's way better than Traquan Smith. Let's just not get that twisted. At least Kirk shows up more than one game a year, buddy. Now, what I like about these moves is you bring back that same chemistry everybody had with everybody that worked last year and did confuse people. That being said, defensively, we know J.J. Watt's going to be back. Nothing else really matters right now with the Cardinals. They're just going to be competitive, and that's good. They probably won't win the division, but they can definitely give the Rams a fight. Now, let's move along to the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, we just got to go down with that trade with Denver. You trade away Russell Wilson, and you get Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, and Drew Lock. Well, I mean, that's good. That's great. I mean, this solidifies the tight end position for Seattle, because they always seem to have these guys that just kind of go through there and kind of do their own thing, and then they never really pan out. You've been rolling Seattle tight ends for the last 5 years in daily fantasy football. You should definitely head over to drroto.com and check out our seasonal content that's going to be coming up, because you need some help, brother or sister. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But let's talk about this. With Russell Wilson out of the division, that clearly puts, in my opinion, Seattle at the bottom of the division. So with Seattle at the bottom of the division, what do you do with pretty much a rebuild? Well, you have Drew Lock, who's supposed to be pretty good, and you still have Tyler Lockett at the moment and DK Metcalf. So you have Noah Fant, who's a beast. You've got DK Metcalf, who's a beast. You got Lockett, who's a beast. You still have some pretty good running backs, Chris Carson, Mr. I'll play 7 games, look really okay, and then just, miss the rest of the year and do nothing. So, but they've always kind of been a pass team. I think this is their chance to really give this team a good passing chance. You know what I mean? And if, as long as if they don't release Geno Smith or whatever, if they keep him there as a backup or give him a chance to start over Drew Lock, that's fine too. Cheeto Smith, yes, I said Cheeto. Cheeto Smith, yeah, that's our name for him. Fantasy football. You always got that one guy you got to have a name for, right? It's Cheeto Smith. It's Geno Smith. So he can play very well in that role. And yes, the Rams did dust him when he had to come in and play against them, but he did well against other teams. So therefore, when you've got that surrounding core of players around you, and you have pretty much a rebuild, plus you have all these draft picks now, you could definitely solidify the defense and give this team a fighting division. But in that division, being one of the hardest divisions for the last few years, you can't really trade away a superstar quarterback for an unknown. That's the one thing. And I know that we know who Drew Lock is. He doesn't finish seasons. He gets hurt. He doesn't play well, and then he does. It boggles my mind. And you know what? I'm not going to even say it's all Drew Lock's fault, because a lot of the receivers in Denver really haven't been the best. So, him coming from Denver with Noah Fant at least gives him somebody he's used to seeing, which means that you'll see a lot of production from the tight end in Seattle this year. A lot of checkdowns, a lot of fun. No matter who's playing quarterback, they got a lot of work coming towards Noah Fant's way. So there's your gem going into this season. Everybody's loved Fant last year, the last couple of years, but he's going to be one of those guys that you can get really late in a draft that you can plug in as a starter and a tight end that'll really help you, or even a backup to like Travis Kelce. That is a perfect guy right there. And that is what you need on your fantasy football teams, seasonal or dynasty, because these guys are all young. So let's move along to San Francisco. Boy, they are really having one big, boring offseason. I do like Charvarius Ward getting signed. They have a really good defense there in San Francisco. We kind of know that all right now. But at the same time, they gave a lot of one-year extensions to their depth. I mean, JaMychal Hasty being one of them, that he's shown that he can step in at any point and play football and be a starting running back for that team. But this whole Jimmy G trade, no trade, and then, last year I called it. I said, right there in the draft party, I said, Trey Lance is going to be the guy that's going to break everything and get on that team. And it happened. Now he's there. What do you do? What do you do with all this stuff going on? Well, what San Francisco needs to do is they need to make a move. I do love Deebo Samuel. He is great. But Brandon Ayuk somehow disappears, and I don't understand this whole kind of offensive game plan that Shanny kind of always plays with. That's why I stay away from those running backs sometimes. But at the same time, what is going on? I just don't see it happening. And I mean, San Francisco will be a strong team. Can they overcome Arizona? I just don't think they have enough firepower in the end. You can't just always rely on Deebo in all those plays. And now everybody's going to have a whole offseason and a lot of video to watch how they used Deebo last year. That's going to get locked down. Deebo's still going to get what Deebo gets. And that's the way it's going to be. Great players just find a way. But the rest of the team is junk. Kittle is brittle. We know that. We know that these things just cannot happen with Kittle every season. And then we tell ourselves that our fantasy football team is going to be great with Kittle at the tight end. That's why if you have Kittle, you need to get someone like Zach Ertz or Noah Fant, because you clearly need a backup, because this dude, again, is brittle. But the one thing that San Francisco is going to bring back to is not only the competitive play, but the slow smash mouth football that they play within it. But they are just missing something, one thing. Jimmy G might not be getting it done. Will a trade would that help? I don't think so. Now, everybody was hoping that Aaron Rodgers would get traded to Green Bay, from Green Bay to San Francisco. Now, Aaron Rodgers would help that team a lot, of course, but that's not happening, people. This isn't going to happen unless something crazy happens. I don't see it happening at all, especially since they already signed Aaron and let Devontae Adams go and all that crazy jazz, which is a whole nother story in itself. So check out our AFC West preview that'll be coming shortly, is already up. Yeah. So San Francisco really isn't done much. They're going to bring back that same team. So if I was to rank the division right now, I would go LA number 1, Arizona, San Francisco, Seattle. That doesn't mean Arizona and San Francisco can't make the playoffs like last year, but I only think two teams are going to come out of this division, and that's very sad for the other two teams. Seattle being one of them. Let's move along to the Los Angeles Rams, the Super Bowl champions. Horns up. Oh, yeah. We have lost players. All Super Bowl teams lose players. I mean, Williams being one, the free agency, he's already signed. You know, we got Troy Reader out there. OBJ is out there, but we're thinking about bringing him back. But the thing the Rams went and did, a player I didn't even think, wasn't even in my equation, was sign Allen Robinson, finally giving Matt Stafford a Calvin Johnson type kind of player, and a player that has been down, has had horrible quarterbacking, a horrible team cast. And I'm not going to blame Mitchell Trubisky for everything. He wasn't, the whole Bears, Nagy, everything was just stinky water. It was pungent. Nobody wanted it anymore, be part of it anymore. Robinson out, mess left behind, let it go. I mean, I don't even want to do a review on the Bears right now. That team is looking mighty, mighty weak. But the one thing that Allen Robinson does provide for the Rams that we really haven't had other than Cooper Kupp is a big body, a guy that can go up and get the ball other than Cooper. But don't get it wrong. Allen Robinson is a big boy. He can get these balls out the air, right? So that gives them another end zone threat. Now, the trade for Robert Woods, a.k.a. Baba Trays, that trade right there solidified that the Rams are actually good with going Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, and Van Jefferson and trying to get OBJ back. OBJ coming back to this team is needed. I watched and I thought, along with a lot of other people in this industry, thought that Van Jefferson was going to be the hammer last year. We all knew that either Cooper Kupp was going to miss time or Robert Woods was going to miss time, and Robert Woods ended up getting hurt. Van Jefferson not only didn't perform well, but if you go back and you watch that Super Bowl and watch the way him and Skowronek running all over this field, dropping balls, messing things up, it didn't work out. They were putting, now I know that, you know, he was worried about the whole pregnancy thing. And I mean, that's congratulations, Van. You the man. You still my guy. Big man, Van. But you really showed last year, and you were in spotlight. You were given a chance in spotlight to shine when the Rams kept going to him, and nothing really equated but a yard run, like a yard pass. It didn't work for me. And it shows that really he's not a superstar receiver, and he might not even be a number 2. He's more of a number 3. If the Rams get OBJ back, that's going to push him back to 4. That's better than Skowronek coming out. Believe that. Because that man, we don't even go there either. But it still adds depth to a receiving core that is good. Now, if we don't get OBJ, I will be good with Van Jefferson being the 3rd receiver. That still gives him time to read, run routes. And now, you know, Stafford just came in last year. Now he gets another entire offseason to work with Van and Cooper and now Allen Robinson. I mean, that right there is a scary, scary trio. Don't get it wrong. We got a team. Our running backs are deep too. I know that Michelle has left. That's fine. But the Rams are stuck, and they're going to give Akers the ball, and they love to run the ball. And that is why the Rams are going to win the NFC West this year, is because they have done what they needed to do. They've lost people like even Sebastian Joseph Day. He is a good player, But who came on at the end? It was Greg Gaines. When Von Miller was running crazy, and yes, I know we lost him too, that's okay. We still have Floyd and Donald getting that pass rush, but Gaines really proved last year that he can lay the hammer as well. He held the middle down. He allowed our team and allowed Aaron Donald to get open multiple times. We are back. We still have a team, and we got even better. Not a lot of Super Bowl teams can just go into the offseason and sign one of the best receivers in the league that's been playing unproductive football in a cold, windy city with a team that was a mess. Anytime you give somebody a second chance, a third chance, or whatever, look what happened to OBJ. I swear that Super Bowl isn't even that close if OBJ doesn't get hurt. There's just no way. He was scorching them. Go back, check it. Fact check that. Because I can tell you right now, OBJ and the Rams would have rolled Cincinnati in that Super Bowl if he didn't get hurt. They couldn't stop him. Then the tape shows. So go check it out. You don't believe me? Oh, yeah. So that being said, we talked about Arizona, James and Ertz coming back, Seattle being a pretty much total rebuild, and we got San Francisco just ho-humming it right up the middle, and we got the Rams adding depth and size at receiver, making trades, and hopefully bringing back OBJ. This is Heat Override from drroto.com, and I hope that you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and always remember to bring the pain. Ooh, yeah.